Back home again in Indiana. Exodus 14:10 through 12 reads, "And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and, behold, the Egyptians marched after them, and they were sore afraid. And the children of Israel cried out unto the Lord, and they said unto Moses, Because there were no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness? Wherefore hast thou dealt with us, to carry us forth out of Egypt? Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, Let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness." Now, I was reminded of these lines in this book here, We Who Wrestle with God, Jordan B. Peterson's latest book, maybe his last. I've gotten a sense it might be his last because it seems like a summary of all of his thought in a way. I read this chapter yesterday, and I thought it was a great synchronicity because it reminded me of my current circumstance in life. For I was reading this chapter about Exodus and its themes and his interpretation, and I always like his interpretation of scripture, how he incorporates psychology and some science into it, because all real truth resonates, whether it's scientific, spiritual, material. And in my current situation, here's the short of it. I joined the military about a year ago, and it was chill, basic training. It is what you expect. A little bit of brainwashing. I understand why. Then I had this long training period. I had to learn a language. I had to learn Arabic. Well, أنا أتكلم عربي قليلا فقط. That means I only speak a little bit. It sounds profane, but it's not. So I had this long training period in California. It was very beautiful. I'm very grateful for this opportunity that I had. However, I'm an alcoholic, currently beginning the path of recovery. Did my first AA meeting just today. And while I was there for a long time, I ended up being there for some 11 months. I started drinking heavily again because I actually had a little bit of freedom there. And I was drinking so much, I started missing work, missing formations, which is a big deal, a very big deal, a very big no-no in the military. And so they started catching on, and it's strictly forbidden to drink when you're training in the military, or in the Army at least. It was kind of bullshit because all 4 branches were on this base, and Army was the only branch that could not drink at all. But even if I was allowed to drink, I let it interfere with my work because I drank to excess a lot. And basically, I drank so much, I got separated from the Army. So my flight home was yesterday. And I was reading this book on Exodus, and the way Jordan Peterson frames it, and I think this is one of the more valid interpretations, is how Exodus is a story of the escape from a tyrannical state to the promised land. Now, the thing is, when you escape the tyrannical state, you do not go directly to the promised land, at least not typically. In between these two states, the undesirable and desirable state, there is a desert, the wilderness. Shall we then die in the wilderness? When you escape from a tyranny, whether it's from an outside force or one that you impose on yourself, then you are thrown into a chaotic state of uncertainty. There can be trials and tribulations, deprivation, confusion. And that's where I'm at now. That's where I'm at now because I don't have any income anymore. I'm at a halfway house with other recovering alcoholics at this time. And yeah, I'm in the wilderness. I'm not gonna lie, I was very tempted to despair last night. I couldn't even sleep. But yeah, I just thought this was a very synchronous chapter for me to read in these topics. Because I'm sure I'm not alone, I'm certain of it. This is an archetypal theme. And I feel like in a way I was escaping both the tyranny of self and other. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say being in the military is like living under Joseph Stalin or Adolf Hitler or something. It's not. For the most part, it's pretty chill. But my disposition, I'm kind of like a free bird, bro. I want to fly away, fly towards the sun, maybe even too close, often too close in my case. So I found it to be very restrictive, a little bit excessive order for my taste, for whatever my taste is worth. But secondly, and more pronounced and more importantly, is the tyranny of self through my addictions. Now, I have a plethora of addictions that I'm battling with: nicotine, caffeine, sex, pornography, but the worst of them all, probably the most destructive, is alcohol. And the way that it's a tyranny is that it restricts your freedom. At a certain point, if you get addicted enough, you no longer even have a choice. It holds you in bondage, and it takes your time and your energy. And now I'm really intending and wanting to escape, and I've started that process. Truly, this time. I can't say I'm never going to drink again, but I know I have to at least stop for a very, very long time. Months, if not years. So, seeing that if I have escaped this tyranny truly this time, I do feel like I'm in the wilderness now, because I don't have this thing to medicate me anymore. I'm going to have to raw dog my emotions and thoughts, and my life is not immediately going to get better. There are no quick results in this dimension. In fact, it's probably going to get a lot harder and a lot worse in terms of gratification. However, in terms of meaning, purpose, direction, and fulfillment, this could be a much better state. So if you find yourself in a tyranny, a job that crushes your soul, or an addiction that does the same, don't be afraid to go into this wilderness, because God does not lead you into the wilderness that you will die. He leads you to the wilderness that you may reach the promised land.